For nearly 40 years, Kyra Sedgwick has stood beside Kevin Bacon as one of Hollywood's most enduring couples. To the public, they're the easygoing, joke-cracking pair who turn up on red carpets and in quirky commercials. But behind that familiar smile is a woman shaped by chaos, heartbreak, and hard choices. On their most recent film together, people on set noticed something different. Kyra was quieter, more focused, often pulled aside with their grown children in intense conversation. It wasn't about scandal, it was about a decision. After decades of bending around the industry, and sometimes around her husband's career, Kyra was finally saying goodbye to one thing she'd carried since childhood: the idea that her own needs should always come last. 1. The girl between two worlds. Kyra Sedgwick was born on August 19, 1965 in New York City into money, history, and fracture. Her mother came from a wealthy German-Jewish family, her father from an old American line that traced back to the Revolution. On paper, it looked charmed. In reality, it was breaking. Her parents split when she was 4. A long custody battle followed, therapy sessions with her mother in a cramped apartment, then polished visits to her father's Upper East Side home. Kyra learned early that privilege didn't protect anyone from emotional storms. She coped by writing, imagining, slipping into other lives, skills that would later become the backbone of her acting. 2. Warnings in the family. Her family tree held both brilliance and danger. Her half-brother, jazz guitarist Mike Stern, was a blazing talent who nearly died from heroin addiction and needed an emergency liver transplant. Visits with him meant standing inside a world where genius and self-destruction were always inches apart. Then there was Edie Sedgwick, a distant relative turned Warhol icon whose glamorous rise ended in addiction and an early death. Those stories were more than gossip. They were warnings. Fame could swallow people whole. Kyra carried that awareness into every choice she made about work, image, and sanity. 3. The actor, the wife, the mother. At school, she was bullied for her background, but on stage, she felt seen. Soap work in Another World led to serious roles in Miss Rose White, which earned her an Emmy, and films like Born on the 4th of July and Singles. She pushed her body and voice to the edge for roles, riding horses until she cracked ribs, learning accents, immersing herself in trauma. In 1987, she met Kevin Bacon on Lemon Sky. Despite religious tension at home and her mother's disapproval, they married the next year. Kyra chose motherhood fast. Son Travis in 1989, daughter Sosie in 1992, juggling nursing breaks between press tours and stunts on set. Later, projects like The Woodsman dragged both of them into such dark emotional territory, they needed couples therapy and retreats to climb back out. Instead of breaking, they learned to reinforce the marriage with honesty. 4. The director who finally drew a line. Kyra's breakthrough as a powerhouse came with The Closer. She built Brenda Lee Johnson from the accent up, fought executives to keep the character's darker edges, and won an Emmy and Golden Globe in the process. She didn't just act the role, she protected it. When acting alone wasn't enough, she stepped behind the camera. Story of a Girl, Space Oddity, Shorts at Sundance, episodes of Grace and Frankie and The Summer I Turned Pretty, she began speaking out against pay inequity, against inauthentic casting in Jewish roles, and for better treatment of mothers on set. So when Kevin signed onto projects that brushed up against themes and choices she no longer wanted to stay quiet about, Kyra didn't threaten to walk away from him. She walked away from silence. She drew a line. Their love could stay, but her voice was no longer negotiable. After 4 decades, Kyra Sedgwick isn't stepping out of Kevin Bacon's shadow. She's standing exactly where she's always belonged. Beside him, yes, but firmly in her own light.